I had the opportunity to catch up with a couple Raider legends on Friday. You'll hear that conversation plus a whole lot more on Monday's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast for June 10th, 2024.
You are Locked On Raiders, your daily Las Vegas Raiders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome in, Raider Nation, to another edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast. Thank you so much for making the show your first listen of the day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts to get the latest edition of the show as soon as it becomes available. As always, if you're giving us a look on YouTube, we definitely appreciate that. The show grows each and every day, and that's because of you and my man, Ari. Ari does a fantastic job making sure we're up on YouTube, we're looking good, and we're sounding good. We definitely shout him out. He's on Twitter at Ari Produces. I'm on Twitter as well, at your boy Q254. And we got the Locked On Raider podcast voicemail line at 707-654-4693. Normally, we'd have calls and texts coming up in segment number 3. Today, we will not. Had an opportunity to catch up with Raider legends, got a chance to catch up with Sandra Douglas Morgan, the president, on Friday at an alumni wellness event for the Raiders. It was not open to the public, so it was just a great opportunity to be there. I want you to hear the conversation I was able to have with not only Marcus Allen, but Tim Brown. And it was funny, I was just talking to Marcus Allen to start off, and then he actually brought Tim Brown into the conversation. So I thought it was a really good moment and really good conversation. Like I said, really happy to be a part of that. So I wanted to pass that along here on today's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast. So in segment number 2 and 3, I should say, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown, the conversation I had on Friday on my radio show, Unnecessary Roughness on Raider Nation Radio 920. Here in segment number 1, just news and notes, a little nuggets that I collected over the weekend. We'll jump right into it after I tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. It's funny, we talk quite a bit here on the show about, people on the outside, the national media, a lot of folks that don't give the Raiders a lot of credit. And every time I find someone who is giving the Raiders some credit and believes that they could be better than a lot of people think, I like to bring it to the table just to be able to put it out there so somebody can hear it. And Rich Eisen has been a guy that's really supported the Silver and Black for a while. A couple years back when Josh McDaniels first took over as the head coach and the Raiders went out and made the move for Devontae Adams, he actually thought that the Raiders were going to be that team, thought they were going to be a playoff team. And, I remember having him on my radio show talking about it and why he believed that. And, Rich Eisen is a really good, sharp NFL mind. Love listening to his show. You can actually hear it in between the morning tailgate and JT the Brick on Raider Nation Radio 990. But just being able to catch up with him, I saw him at Cliff Branch's Hall of Fame party in Canton, Ohio not too long ago. I mean, he's a dude that's been around the organization, really good dude. And like I said, a really sharp NFL mind. Well, he was talking on Friday about teams that could potentially get in the way of the Kansas City Chiefs on their quest for a three-peat, as that's what they're going for. And he brought up the Silver and Black, and he had some really good reasons. I thought it was some good stuff from Rich Eisen, so check it out.
Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
Max Crosby is your defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he is.
The Condor goes in and he just absolutely kicks ass.
Yeah, baby.
Antonio Pierce is a Coach of the Year finalist. Ooh. And the Autumn Wind is a Pirate. And they win the AFC West. My prophecy, 2 years too late for me to not piss off Chiefs Nation. Chiefs Kingdom, okay? Raider Nation watches the Raiders win the AFC West. And then this is the ultimate. They win the AFC West, and who's the wild card team that comes in to play them in the first week of the playoffs? The Kansas City Chiefs. And they exorcise the demons, and they clear out the stadium of the stink, in their mind, of the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl in there. And they're the ones who personally end the three-peat in the spot where the three-peat officially became possible with them winning a second consecutive Super Bowl.
So there's Rich Eisen for the Rich Eisen Show talking about why the Raiders will be the team to knock off the Chiefs. And not only did he say they'll win the AFC West, not only did he say Max Crosby will be Defensive Player of the Year, Antonio Pierce will be in the running for the Coach of the Year, but they're going to be the division champs, and they're going to welcome in the Chiefs to Allegiant Stadium as the wild card and knock them off. And that's going to stop their quest for a three-peat. That would be awesome. That'd be poetic justice if that's exactly how it shook out. Now, of course, it's June, right? I mean, there's a lot lot that's got to go right for the Raiders, and they've got to go put in the work. But it's nice to, again, be able to hear someone on the national stage give the Raiders some props and why, and actually have some reason, not just they pulled out the name out of his backside and threw it against the wall and it just happened to stick. So thought that was some really good stuff from Rich Eisen, and I'll definitely be reaching out to him sooner rather than later to try to get him on the show, whether it's the radio show or the podcast or both, to talk about the silver and black. Also on Friday, Max Crosby, he was making his media rounds, and he was on the Jim Rome show, and he had some things to say that caught a lot of people's attention, and Twitter was really kind of on fire all weekend long with what Max Crosby had to say. And I loved hearing the way that he supports being a Raider and the way he loves being a Raider. And so here's a couple minutes of just the back and forth between Jim Rome and Mad Max Crosby.
Did you ever think privately what it might be like to be someplace else? Because that might be natural. Or was it always critical to you to make sure that you could stay with the Raiders as long as possible?
Yeah, for me, I the guys who inspired me are the Kobes and the Jordans, the guys that stayed at the same place and won in the same place. So no offense to the guys like LeBron and those dudes that, I won't give them some heat, but they, took the easier road travel, and that's really not the way I look at it. I feel like for me, going through it and going through the ups and downs and the hardships is going to make it even that much, sweeter when I do win a Super Bowl. So I plan on being here for a very long time, and I plan on winning here. So yeah, when I signed that contract, I didn't have any type of thought of leaving or idea of leaving. I feel like I'm going to be a Raider for life, for sure.
Max, how much of that is about you not chasing the ring someplace else, not taking the path of least resistance? And again, I'm not cracking on them either. How much of it is about that? And then how much of it is just specifically about being a Raider, about being a part of the silver and black? Yeah,
I feel like it's everything I represent. I feel like me being in a different color wouldn't even look right. I'm a Raider to the core. I express exactly who I am. I don't shy away from it publicly, or, people that really know me and are with me on a daily basis. I'm the same guy every single day, and that's what I take a lot of pride in. I'm 100% myself on a daily basis. So that's what I think being a Raider is. And I fully embrace it. And like I said, it's no shade on anybody else. They can do whatever they want to do. But for me, I really care about legacy, and I care about winning. And I feel like, anybody can go and join something that's already established. It's like me going to the Chiefs and going to win a Super Bowl. That wouldn't be right. You know what I mean? That wouldn't even feel right or look right. I want to earn it. And for me, since day one, I had one offer. I was a 4th round pick. I was a 3rd string when I came in the league. I've always been doubted. Everyone's always told me what I can't do, but I've been telling them and showing them what I can do since day one, and I'm gonna keep doing that. So I love when they doubt me. It's everything. It just gives me more fuel. It's exactly what I need. So I love all the fans in the off season coming towards me saying, "Oh, he's not gonna, he's getting older. He's gonna do this." I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to remind y'all again at an even higher level. So I can't wait to do it.
So there you go. There's Mad Max talking about, he doesn't want to ever leave the Raiders. He's a Raider for life, and he doesn't want to go in the way that, LeBron win and others when they go and KD go join super teams and try to win a ring that way. And, I saw a lot of blowback on Twitter saying, yeah, well, he was just saying that, all things are on the table if AP doesn't get the head coaching job. He literally wanted to get traded if AP didn't get the job. Yeah, I mean, he might have put that out there, but he also put that out there because he had the leverage, right? So you got to understand that some things that are said aren't always necessarily meant. And again, we all know that in the NFL, it's a business, right? I mean, hell, he might want to be a Raider for life. The Raiders might not decide he's going to be a Raider for life, right? I mean, there's all kind of things could happen, but it's just really good and a positive to hear the leader of the team, who is Max Crosby, talk about being around the organization and wanting to win a Super Bowl for the team and, wanting to be a Raider for life. It's just good to hear that part of it, right? It's not just about money. It's about legacy. It's about the silver and black. It's about all that. It's just, like I said, things could happen. We know it's a business. He can end up, requesting a trade for one reason or the other. The Raiders could end up trading him for one reason or the other. He can end up hitting the end of his contract at some point, and they just decide to move on. I mean, that's just how things goes. That's the price of business. But again, thought it was really cool to hear that from Max Crosby, so I wanted to pass that along as well. Just got a couple more little nuggets here for today's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast before we get into part one of my conversation with the Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. And today, Raiders Media Day. It's from 8 a.m. to noon Pacific time. So depending on what time you're listening to this, it might already be happening. It might be already over. But JT the Brick, Eric Allen, and myself are actually going to host a 4-hour show from the Raiders indoor. Now, we did this last year where we had an opportunity to talk to coaches, talk to players, talk to the GM. There was some really good conversation. I expect to have that once again, but it's from 8 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You can check it out on the Raiders YouTube page, Raiders.com. They'll have it. And, of course, I'll have the audio from some of the great conversations that we have as well. But just a cool little blessing to be able to be a part of that again for the second year in a row. So that's what I got for you for segment number 1 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Coming up, segment number 2, part 1 of the conversation I had with Marcus Allen. Well, where did I get a conversation with Marcus Allen from? On Friday, I was at the Raiders' first annual Alumni Wellness Weekend. I talked to Jay Schrader, Nick Bell, Ryan Hogue, Jacoby Ford, the President, Sandra Douglas Morgan, Orrin O'Neill, Ira Matthews, Bill Romanowski, Marcus Allen, and Tim Brown. So again, in segment number 2, you'll hear part 1 of my conversation with just Marcus Allen. Segment number 3, you'll hear Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. Great conversation. But coming up in segment number 2, just my one-on-one with the Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen. Before we get to that, though, I do want to tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is FanDuel. And summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and a whole lot more, like the Stanley Cup Finals going on as well. You can bet all of it on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you could use to bet everything from the Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the park, multiple times even, like Aaron Judge. Every time Aaron Judge comes to bat, all rise, and you never know what's going to happen. Usually, it's a home run. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Add a big win to your summer bucket list with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Raider Nation, here we go. Segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Again, want to bring the conversation that I had on Friday at the Raiders Alumni Wellness Weekend, their first annual. I say it all the time. The Raiders say it all the time. Any player that you'll ever hear listen will always say that the Raiders care more about their alumni than any other team across the NFL, and I believe that. And so on Friday, they had this event where I was invited to come and do my radio show from, but it wasn't something that I could advertise and say, hey, come on down here and hang out with us and meet all these legends. It was really, I don't want to say down low, but it was one of those where, like I said, it wasn't open to the public, but I was able to be a part of it. So was really blessed that they invited me, and I was really blessed to be able to have the conversations that I had. And one of the great conversations I had was with the Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen. Here's part 1. Check it out. Mr. Marcus Allen, how you doing, my man?
I was thinking Tim Brown, maybe. I don't. Lionel Washington.
Hey, you know what? I'm sure I'll see Tim
Jesse
Brown.
Hester. There's a lot of guys.
Seeing them all walking around here, but it was funny. We were sitting down. I was sitting down with Nick Bell and Jay Schrader when you walked through, and Jay all of a sudden in the middle of the conversation was like, hey, three twos right there. Hold on. 3 twos right there. I got to go say what's up.
Yeah, I guess I had quite a few nicknames. 3-2 was one of them, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, we're so happy that you could join us. But, this is a great Alumni Wellness Weekend that the Raiders and Mark Davis make sure that they put on every year, and this is a big event. How important is this to be able to have these kind of events?
Well, I think it's great. I think most players that leave the game feel like, and if they don't go out the way they'd like, the game has sort of taken something from them.
Yeah.
Right, and so they're sort of skeptical, moving forward. But when you have, especially a game that you played and you played extremely hard, and then it's all taken away, and then you are skeptical whether that game is going to later benefit you.
Right.
And then when the Raiders are a completely different organization than anybody else. Mark has tried to provide every single thing for the Legends program to help guys succeed in life, whether it's health, whether it's mental health, whether it's financial literacy. I mean, he's really sort of is the I guess the touchstone, if you will. The guy that's above everyone else out there that is doing things for former players. And so you have a lot of guys here. I think approximately 150 guys.
That's awesome.
That are here. And I talked to Ronnie Lott earlier, and without saying very much, he basically said, the 49ers, he didn't say this, but I know what he was alluding to. The 49ers aren't doing that, right?
Right.
So it just gives you an idea of what how Mark cares about the former players, and he's trying to provide every opportunity for them to be as healthy and take advantage of all the benefits that the league has offered a lot of things that I guess players aren't aware of. We think, again, we walk away thinking the league, really doesn't care. Well, in fact, they have provided, a lot of opportunities in a lot of different areas for us to benefit from. We just have to take full advantage of that. Today, if you don't succeed, it's your fault, really.
Yeah, because it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there, for sure. Marcus Allen is with us here on Raider Nation Radio 920. And I saw you earlier in this chair where you're laying back, your feet are up, you got the blindfolds on, you got the headset on. How relaxing is that? And what is that stimulating for the body, or?
Yeah, it's vibration.
Okay.
And it certainly stimulates the body. As we educate ourselves and get away from the old paradigm, we understand that vibration and frequency is everything. It heals everything.
Yeah.
Right. We don't need to do the things that we've done in the past. Unfortunately, it's because we want to monetize everything. But the reality is, there are treatments out there that can heal people. But healing people is a bad business model.
yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately.
There's no doubt. So when you get together and you get to see all your brothers and start to chop it up with them and talk with them and just be in the same area like we are right now, I mean, what does that mean for you?
Well, it means the world to me. I haven't seen Jesse Hester in, seems like over 20 years or something like that. So
yeah.
And I encouraged him. First of all, I said it was great seeing you. And I was just actually watching an old game the other day. And I said to myself, where's Jesse? I haven't seen him. I wonder what he's doing. And then he shows up here. And I've encouraged him to come back for the reunion we have every year during the, I guess, the final preseason game, I think it is. So, we have, I think, approximately 300 guys that come back for that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've gone to the last two, and I won't miss it again. I mean, it's just, it's a special bond when you go to, when you fight and go in a foxhole with these guys, and you the blood, sweat, and tears that you when you go to camp, you build this, this bond that most people don't understand. And obviously when you go in the game and you win a championship, I mean, that's something that just can't be broken. So you may not see a guy for 20 years and it feels like yesterday, and it feels like, it's such a part of your life. It's just special.
Yeah, they're your brothers. They're your brothers for life. Yeah, you talk about it all the time. The
band
fraternity.
of brothers, absolutely right.
Absolutely. And you mentioned going to camp, and the Raiders are going to be going to Costa Mesa. They're going to leave Henderson, and they're going to go to Costa Mesa. How important is that to get away and be with your brothers and start that bonding for training camp?
Well,
or is it important? Maybe it's not important.
Of course it's important. I mean, to get away, obviously, maybe.
Right.
Is it safe to say it gets too hot here?
Yes, it's safe to say it gets very hot. And it got hotter.
That's the reason?
Early.
I think the temperature in Costa Mesa is going to be pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Is that where the Rams used to practice a long time ago down there?
The Rams and
Irvine
the Chargers.
or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Many years ago. Well, I'm talking about prior to the move to
Gotcha.
SoFi.
Yeah.
But I think back in the day, somewhere down there and stuff. Listen, anytime you get together in training camp, it's a little different now, I must tell you, is, when you have these OTAs and guys around all off season long.
Yeah.
There's really no excitement in seeing them. We used to have mini camp, rookie mini camp, and then we had a mini camp. And so we wouldn't see guys from April until July. Right. And so then it was an excitement to see guys.
Yeah.
It was like, man,
what you been up to?
We can't wait to get together.
Right.
But when you see guys every single day now it's like, oh gosh, you really got to be able to go down and maintain that and your focus and your energy and everything else because you're constantly with each other. I always think a break is necessary.
Yeah.
Once the season was over for me, I did nothing for almost 2 months.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I just made sure I didn't gain weight.
Right.
I let my body rest. I think it was important to give away because the football it's too demanding the sport to be. It's too emotionally demanding and physically demanding to be year round.
Yeah.
you got to have a break in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's just the way I look at it.
So there's part one of the conversation that I had right there. Just me and Marcus Allen talking about the event, talking about the Raiders, just chopping it up. Well, he invites Tim Brown into the conversation, and at these kind of events, that's what you don't know what's going to happen. These guys get around each other and start having a good time. They start yelling at each other, hey, come over here, hang out, and that's exactly how it happened. He had mentioned Tim Brown early in the conversation, and then he just happened to see him walk in, and he brought him into the conversation. So coming up in segment number 3, you'll hear not only myself, not only Marcus Allen, but also touchdown Tim Brown. That's coming up in segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Here we go, Raider Nation, segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. You heard part 1 of the conversation, just me and Marcus Allen. Now you'll hear part 2, where it's myself, Marcus Allen, and Tim Brown, and you'll hear how Marcus Allen actually recruited Tim Brown into this conversation. We had a lot of fun on Friday. I was like a kid in a candy store. It was not even about my interview. It was about these two brothers being able to have their conversation with each other. So what I did, I sat back and like a fly on the wall, let them do their thing, and just got out of the way, right? Don't get in the way of greatness, Q. Don't mess it up. So a really good, fun conversation on Friday with Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. Hope you enjoy it. Check it out.
He just walking in right there, Mr. Tim Brown.
See, you talked him up. There you go.
Hey, there's the GOAT, Tim Brown.
TB.
Hey, you know what? See, now he's ignoring
Yeah,
this.
he's trying to act like he tried to act like he don't see us and hear us.
Hey, too much modesty is conceit, Tim.
He act like.
Hey, I'm blowing you up and you're ignoring me. I just called you the GOAT.
Come on over here, Tim. Hold on.
I say now he's ignoring me, and I said too much modesty is conceit, Tim.
Yeah. so now we got you in the foxhole with us. Now here we go.
Hey. This is my brother.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm here for.
Real dangerous right now.
That's what I'm here for. Touchdown, Tim Brown has entered the building.
Yes, and I just you heard me.
Yep.
Everyone here heard me. That was just blowing him up. And
Just
he just
blowing you
ignored
up.
me. He's gotten kind of cocky lately. You
Little
know what
bit.
I mean?
Is he talking about me? Come on, man. He cannot be talking about me.
I was like his PR man, dude.
He was. I'm talking about his gold jacket, and he says, wait, hold on. There's the one right there.
Absolutely.
Look, I don't have a gold jacket without this man. That's just the fact of the matter, I mean, he literally taught me how to play the game on this level.
Mine's gratuitous, too. I don't even charge him, dude. I love him that much. And I just, blow him up every time I see him. And he ignored me.
And then he ignored you.
When did I ignore him?
He takes this.
When did that happen?
I'm not going to lie. We all were yelling at you.
I cannot.
Stuff.
You guys, no, look. You guys can't. You think you're yelling, but you're not.
No, I'm loud.
Because you have these things on.
Hey.
I was sitting right there. I didn't hear anybody.
Hey,
if he wouldn't have came up, I would have known you guys were over here.
He takes this Notre Dame stuff too far, man.
God.
Come on, Jimmy.
Nice.
Come
Well, Tim,
Too funny.
welcome to this awesome event here. How are you feeling? How's everything going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. I think it's incredible to see what the Raiders are doing. A lot of people talk about doing things, but they're really putting their money and their time behind it. And, I just wish more guys would come.
Yeah.
Because, the guys who are not here are probably the guys who really need it the most. And so that's unfortunate. But I think we should all probably do a better job of trying to make sure the guys we know they need to be here next year,
Yeah, and when, the Raiders, and Marcus was talking about it as well, that the Raiders really make sure that they focus in and make sure that the alumni are taken care of in a major way, and every team doesn't do that, right?
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially now with all the money that's out there, man. It wouldn't be anything for these teams to do more. But if it's not in your heart, man, it's really hard to do. And, we both have relationships with Mr. Davis that may not be exactly what we wanted. But at the same time, the one thing that we can say is he cares about his players, and he'll do whatever he could for them. So.
What is it like when you get back to these events? You get to see all your brothers. Like you said, I don't have a gold jacket without Marcus. And, Marcus is saying, I haven't seen this guy for this long. I haven't seen this guy. What is that like for you?
I mean, I saw Jesse Hester today for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it may
in 25 years.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe
He's just said the
longer.
same thing.
I mean, I don't know when he got released from the Raiders, but whatever that was, I think that was the last time I saw him, man. For him to come around the corner.
Maybe 30 years. I don't know.
It's crazy.
It just seems like,
yeah. So,
That's
I mean,
funny.
it's
Marcus just mentioned him.
Yeah.
Just mentioned him.
Look, when I got to the Raiders, I mean, this guy was like the mental coach, right? He was, how you handle the team and all that. But I had James Lofton, the ultimate. I had Willie Gault, speed guy. I had Mervin Fernandez, probably one of the toughest guys you're ever going to see. And Jesse Hester was the best pass route running guy in the NFL at that time, as far as I was concerned.
Right.
And, you know, to be able to learn from those guys for a couple of years, man, was really a gift, you know.
That's awesome. That really is. And again, I just love being over here, sitting in the corner and observing you guys all walk in and get to fellowship with each other and really get everything going.
Timmy mentioned something really interesting there. Tim, you mentioned all the guys that you came in with that mentored you and stuff like that. Imagine me coming in the same. There was Upshaw and there was Shell.
Yeah.
And then I had Greg Pruitt.
Yeah.
And I had Ted Hendricks. I was surrounded by, Cliff Branch. And I mean,
you hear them names, bro?
Right.
So you talking about just, I know you feel fortunate. I felt fortunate too. It's like, oh, man, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm surrounded by just like an ocean full of knowledge, dude. I mean, these guys, and Greg Pruitt, and very little people know this, I mean, he was so important to my development because he gave me the little nuance, these little tricks of the trade as a rookie that I really learned, right? The bluff cut and things like that, running option route and how to work people and stuff like that. I felt I was pretty good at it, but after watching Greg Pruitt, I really got really good at it and stuff. And Greg was such, I think it was one of the best screen, runners and draw, runners in the game, period, you know what I mean? And so I learned a lot from him and stuff. So it was just interesting to hear you were surrounded by Lofton, you were surrounded by this guy, that guy. And that's one of the great things about the Raiders. They had so many great players. Yeah. And if you have enough wisdom as a young person, you're going to be a sponge. You're just going to stand there, absorb every single thing. Tim did that. I did that. So.
Yep. No doubt about it.
How I mean, that is super important. And I'm looking at the current Raiders team. And Marcus, I remember seeing you in the locker room week 18 after that Denver victory and everybody's celebrating. How important is it for you guys to be able to give that knowledge to the current team? It's current players, if they pick your brains.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I may talk to Devontae every blue moon, but it's not as much as I would like. You know what I mean? Yeah. I try and throw little things out there, hoping that he'll, come back and say, "What do you mean by that?" Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily happen, and I get it, man. I think Marcus, has done a really good job. I know he was trying his best with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time with JJ. He used to talk about Josh. Look, man, and I tell this to my wife. I say this to my wife all the time. When I see these guys with hamstring injuries and all that, I say, man, look, here's a guy that tore his knee up. They wrapped my freaking hamstring around my posterior cruciate. And I played 15 years after that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you would think somebody would call and say, "Hey, bro, how'd you do that?"
Hey, Timmy. Listen there, I know people don't want to hear this, but this gives you an example of just the different cultures. When I ended up going to Kansas City, and guys were practicing, and they had a twinge. They were out of practice. I was going, what? A twinge? I was going like, what? Right. I don't know if we're going to be successful here. Right. Because with the Raiders, dude, I mean, George Anderson, when he would put an apparatus on you, he would create one.
That brother tied a bicycle tube
I know.
to my calf and taped it to my butt, and I played a game.
They were old school, dude.
And scored on a 65-yard touchdown pass.
There we go. But we didn't accept being hurt.
Right.
A twinge, keeping you out of practice, I'm going like, well, our coaching staff or medical staff wouldn't say, right, you're out today.
And that was in you guys. That was in you guys though too. You didn't want to miss.
No,
right?
No.
I mean, the games was everything.
No. I mean, you always had. I always felt like anyway that, there's somebody waiting.
Right.
They don't have this brother back here.
Right.
He waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you never know. He get out there and a couple balls, fall in his hands.
You don't want to be Wally Pipp.
Man.
So, I mean, you have to, you got to stay on the field, man, because if you don't, I mean, that's how I got the job.
Right.
Mervin Fernandez got hurt.
Yeah.
I wasn't starting going into 92. I was backing Mervin up and happy to do so, to be honest with you. And he got hurt, and I had 50 catches the rest of the year.
Wait. Did I just hear you say you're happy? to do?
At that particular
explain that to me. Come on.
Because I was coming back from my knee injury.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you put some context.
Right,
Because
yeah.
I was like, not the Tim Brown I know.
No, I was happy, because, the knee, I had got a year under my belt, but I was still like, hey,
Okay, all right.
But
no, that explains everything.
Yeah. So,
that was not the TV I know. No.
Look, man, I'm just happy to be a fly on the wall. Like I'm letting you guys share stories. This is a blessing for me just to hear these kind of stories. And you mentioned waiting for opportunities. Antonio Pierce, he when he was in Washington, right? He was an undrafted free agent. He was a backup, and he waited for his opportunity to get on the field, and then he never was able to come off, right?
Yep.
They wouldn't let him off the field. He was so good. Same thing, he's an interim coach, and he did really good things with the team last year. Now he's the head coach. What have you thought about him just reinstalling the Raider way?
It's really been amazing, man. I know he has a short resume right now, but I just think that the attitude that they played those last 7-8 games was incredible. Didn't win every game, obviously, but you felt like you were seeing a team that was trying.
Yeah.
That was really, they were on the same page. They were trying to make something happen. And look, I mean, sitting in the catbird seat I'm in, that's really all I want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we win, we want to win. We want to win championships. But my man, it was hard to watch this team go out and play like they played, for that year and a half or whatever it was. So
that was a sizable energy shift.
Yes.
It was
huge.
Yes, yes.
And I think you had to be blind not to see it. And I think the fans recognized it right away.
They did.
They
called this show every day and told me about it.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa. I mean, you could see the energy change, the attitude change, and the willingness to go out and just give everything you got.
Right.
And listen here, organizations are organizations, right? What really separates organizations is those who understand that people make an organization.
Right.
Right? And when you put people in a position to succeed, right, and you invest in them and you give them everything, you empower them to be, what they can be. And I think that's what Antonio's doing.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm expecting great things. I mean, the expectations is high,
Yeah, no, I feel like it as well, and especially led by the defense and what they were able to do. And I feel like they're only going to be better with Christian Wilkins now in the middle. This makes everyone's job that much easier, right?
Yeah.
Having that big fella in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about coming back and try out to play corner now. hey, Tim, come on. We can play corner now.
No doubt. Hey, on my little deal, they got me at 1998 and 88. I was like, hey, if I was 47, I may get this thing a shot.
Dude, all we need to cover is like 2 seconds.
That's
now,
it.
Dude.
Right.
I tried to play corner, and this guy right here, he pushed me in the small of my back. And, he pushed off. I mean, look, wide receivers, you're a Hall of Famer. You got to have the tricks of the trade. He gave me the trick of the trade, pushed me in the small of my back, got me out of position. So, but, yeah, if they have that kind of pass rush, man, they
that
should.
was it, huh?
Yeah. I'm sticking to that.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to that, Marcus. That's the
You
story.
probably need to add a little bit more to that.
No, I'm sticking to that story. I'm sticking to that. It was all the tricks of the trade. That's what it was. I wasn't in position. Well, fellas, thank you so much for coming here and spending some time. I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend, but Raider Nation loves to hear from you guys. Obviously,
our pleasure.
GOATs
Our pleasure.
in the Raider organization. So we definitely appreciate both Marcus Allen and Tim Brown with us. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey,
man.
I'm just glad to be in Tim's presence.
Oh, man.
Hey, you and me both, Marcus.
He tells me all the time. He tells me all the time. Too much modesty is conceit. That's all right. So remember that.
That's what he said.
hey, I always said, I always say, listen here. Hey, handsome, intelligent. I mean, he's personable. He works hard. Okay, enough about myself. Let's talk about Tim Brown now.
There it is. I love it. Great stuff right there. So there it was right there. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation. I know I loved being a part of it. I'm telling you, that was the best 3-hour show. I'm still literally, I know it's like a couple days later, still kind of riding the high from that show. Just all the different people I was able to talk to. I mean, Jay Schrader and Nick Bell together to start the show, like 2 o'clock hit, and by 2:03, they're on the radio with me. Ryan Hogue, Mr. Irrelevant is what they call him. He was a wide receiver drafted, the very last pick by the Raiders. Really good dude. He was part of the show. Jacoby Ford, of course, he played Cliff Branch in the tribute that they did at halftime last season at the Allegiant Stadium. Just Really good. Sandra Douglas Morgan, the president, you can't go wrong there. Orrin O'Neal, former fullback, good times with him. Ira Matthews, old school, big time wide receiver, running back, kick returner. Bill Romanowski. I mean, I don't have to say anything about him. And of course, the Hall of Famers that you heard from, Marcus Allen and Tim Brown. So that was a blessing. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation. Whenever I do the best of shows, when I go on vacation, which will be at the end of this month, I'll bring some of those other conversations to the table as well. But don't forget, today from 8 a.m. to noon Pacific time, we'll have Raiders Media Day. JT the Brick, Eric Allen, and myself will host a 4-hour show on the Raiders YouTube page, Raiders.com. You can check that out whenever you get an opportunity. And we should be talking to some of the players, many of the players, coaches, staff, GM, who knows? I don't know who they're going to bring to us, but I know it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you're able to enjoy that as well. And of course, I'll bring some of that to the table coming up on Tuesday's show. So until then, Raider Nation, take care of yourself, take care of your family, love on your family. Most importantly, as always, just win, baby.